Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. We got the life of the party in the building, man. Mr. Donny Vega.
Yes, sir.
My guy, cheers.
Cheers, man.
And we got Miss Janine in the background holding it down. Let's get it, man. Cheers.
This is good.
Conor McGregor, we need the deal.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yo, how you living, man?
Good, man. Just out here. It's nice to actually be in the studio with you. You know, I'm always watching the podcast, you know. Love what you grow here.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. It's just good stuff over here, man.
Appreciate it, man. I was excited to have you on because I know we got some mutual homies.
Yeah,
shout out Zargo. Shout out Helly.
I see the Zargo sticker right there.
Shout out Zargo. Shout out Stoo-ie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out the whole team.
Yeah. That's basically everyone from the collective For the People. Yeah, that's how we all know we're all like mutual artists, artist collective. Basically, as I was telling you, it started over at Rehearsal Factory. We used to just work there, and then like did some photo shoots even with Helly. Super gifted with the eye. We always say Helly got the eye. Yeah, man. And then Stoo-ie too. At his studio over on Lakefront over there.
Yep.
And he also does the podcast. Sick stuff going on over there. So
it's a group of people doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, man. I always support the homies, yo. Honestly, and also shout out to YOLO Fragrance. You know, I forgot the sample today, but for sure, flipping fragrance. Yeah, man.
Bro, let me interrupt you real quick because I told you I interviewed Stoo-ie recently, and then I hit you, so both your names were like one after another on my DMs, and I'm like, am I tripping or do they have the same fucking profile picture? And I see fucking other guys have it too.
Yeah, man.
And that's YOLO.
That's YOLO. Basically, just yeah, it started off with the one fragrance was for men, and then there's one called I think it's Dark Secret. It's like a red vial. You know, she even wears it sometimes too.
Okay.
But that's like signature fragrance. And honestly, it's like everyone's like, what's that you're wearing? And I just have to pull up the Instagram page. We're like, yeah, that's YOLO. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just, you know, we all support each other. All doing our thing pretty much, you know.
Shout out for the people, bro.
Yeah,
fuck with it. But yo, that's hilarious. I was expecting it to be like a group album or like a show coming up. You guys threw a curveball and said, let's make a fragrance.
Yeah, like,
love that.
Honestly, and it's just like, because it's just like, I guess we all have our different, you know, niches, you know. Even like my brother, Charlie Pete. He does like rugs.
Okay.
You know, like stickers, actual paintings and stuff like that. So it's like, I guess that's why it's just best as a collective, because it's like we all have our own niches and we all just support each other kind of thing, you know?
100%.
And it's like, it's just that much easier when you already have like some backative, you know, some people are just kind of like doing some legwork for you as well. So that's what it is, man. It's gang, bro. Yeah.
Man, preaching to the choir, like... It's not cliche life. It's not about what you know. It's who you know.
It's
for real, man. I like that. Like, if you know someone that can make some stickers for you, you know someone that can rap, you know someone that can shoot a video.
Exactly. It just makes it that much easier, you know? Yeah. Especially because, like, as an artist, like, nowadays especially, like, you want to be able to, like, you know, I need this or I need that, or, you know, I want to shoot a video impromptu. And it's like, all right, we have a collective. Or it's
facts, like, it's not that tough. Let's get it.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And, like, when it's in-house, it's kind of like people share your vision, too. So you're not kind of, like, compromising on certain things, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that chemistry.
Exactly, that chemistry's there, and it's just, like, it's a win-win for everyone, you know? I get, like, the photographer or the videographer gets it for their, like, portfolio. The artist gets good visuals. Everyone wins at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
No, I completely agree, bro. And I want to dive into the Donny Vega origin story a bit more. But before that, like, that's another reason I fuck with what you guys are doing, because I see it. I see a vision that you guys have, and and it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, each one of you does something a little bit different, but kind of all on the same page.
Yeah, facts. That's huge. What it is.
Create a monster.
That's the goal. For real, that's the goal.
Real shit, man. So, yo, Donny Vega, how the hell did you go from growing up in Mississauga to doing what you're now doing, man? Give me a little bit of a Cliff Notes version of.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even the name, like, because we're actually close to it, Mississauga Valley.
Yep.
Yeah. I grew up around there. And basically, like, I've always had this kind of, I would say, infatuation with the name just Donny. So that's like, that just started from there. But like Vega, it's like short from Fidela Vega. And roughly loosely translated in Spanish, it means like of the fertile land. You know what I mean? Fertile land can mean anything. It can mean like a valley, a plain. I grew up in the valleys. So it's technically like Donny of the Valley. And I grew up in the valleys.
Okay.
So that's basically like what it is. And then, I don't know, I've always had like a thing for music. I used to like rap. I was like 19. So I want to say like 2014 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, like that was a long time ago. But
who were you rapping like?
Honestly, like that was my thing. Like I had such a distinct style.
Okay.
And back then, I guess it was hard to find a lane because it was like the way I wanted to rap, it wasn't really, I guess, the thing, you know what I mean? But it's so trippy because like I would like describe the sound I was looking for. It's like, it's popular now. It's like Yeat, Uzi, like I just want to rock, like that kind of, you know? And I guess it always just came from the fact that I really like house music. You know what I mean? Like, I really love, like, hard beats. I like fast BPMs. And trying to incorporate that in hip-hop at the time, it was just kind of like...
Facts. So that time was, like, I think Migos.
Yeah. It was more like, 90 BPM beats, you know, very much ad-libs and stuff like that. And even spinning today, like, I find it hard to mix, like, slow music like that just because of the simple fact that... I'm always waiting for that drop, that transition.
Yeah, trying to turn up.
Yeah, like me and Jiynx are always talking about that. Like we just like, all right, up the BPM a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much that. Like, so I went from that like rapping because I was just kind of like, this is one lane. I want to explore another lane, and I went to producing for a while on Fruity Loops, and it was kind of the same thing, but. I guess the silver lining to that was I met Zargo, and Zargo's like sound, it's the same thing. It's kind of like it's not identified by like a typical industry standard, you know what I mean? It's very his own thing.
True.
So like he was one of the artists that like could actually like go on my beats. And that's why I just loved working with Zargo, because it was like we'd always just cook up some like very experimental shit, you know what I mean? And then we'd like sometimes, like one time, shouts to Bartlett House. They put us on for real. They had Zargo performing. They gave me some DJ gigs as well. And basically, like, he was performing once and he played a song that we like kind of did together. And it shut the place down, man. It was such a surreal feeling to like, okay, yeah, we do this in the studio and we're hyped to it. But now we have all these people like, who is this? Encore. And we're like, oh, shit. Oh, yeah. So that's pretty much what it is, man. Like the origin stories of, like, music in general for me has just always been sounds, just experimenting, you know? Like, even with my bro, Charlie, like, we're always sending music back and forth, and that's kind of like how I started DJing. Like, I didn't really think I would be a DJ. Like, that wasn't something in my mind, but... He came up to me, I think, I want to say last year, April, and he was like, yo, like, he showed me these two DJs. They're called Major League, and basically two brothers, I believe from South Africa, and they spin a lot of Amapiano, but over the pandemic, they blew up. Like, you can literally see the progression in their videos. Like, they used to do, like, backyard parties, and then they'd be in Milan. Like, you know what I mean? Like... big gigs. And he was like, yo, why can't we do this? And I was like, because we're always just sending music back and forth. I was like, I guess. And I just kind of put my mind to it and said, all right. Went through some music, and then Stoo-ie came along, and Stoo-ie already DJ'd. Stoo-ie knew the ground. Like, he taught me how to do all the things. He's like, you're gonna want to do this, you want to blend like that. And I was like, this is daunting, man. This is crazy. But after a while, like, it just stuck. At first, like, I was like, I had to find, like, my love for it.
Yep.
But as soon as I started spinning and we'd just be in the basement, like, going song for song with each other, I'm like, nah, this is sick. And that's pretty much how DJing came along. So, like, I feel like everything I've done with music has just been because of, like, the people around me, but also my own love for it as well.
Right.
And that's why, like, it's real organic for me.
It's very organic, man. That's a great way to put it, because music, I've heard this phrase before, like, music is the universal language. Like, everyone in the world loves music.
This is facts.
And I think sometimes we forget, like, yo, the people you make music with is so crucial, you know? That's a good story to hear, bro. Like, it naturally progressed.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's crazy, too, because even with DJing, like, my first couple shows, I probably had like 60 songs on my belt, man. Because I'm a person where, like, it's always been hard for me to listen to, like, album after album or keep up with music. And I always thought that meant, like, I don't like music as much as other people. But it's just a thing for me where it's like, I'm the type of person I can have 10 songs. I'll listen to those 10 songs all the time.
Same, I'm the exact same way, bro.
It doesn't matter to me.
Burn those bitches out.
Yeah, like, and I know the lyrics hand for hand, you know?
Facts.
So it's just cool, too, because, like, even now with Jiynx, like, we'll just be texting and just sending songs to each other. Like, yo, do you have this? You have this? You have this? And now our catalog's huge because it's just, like... So it's always, like, a thing where it's, like, yeah, definitely the community around me has definitely helped me expand my sound.
Right.
And definitely that's why it's, like, yeah, community is huge for me. Very huge.
It's huge, man. Like... I think in working with other people, you help each other. You see what they do. Maybe you can take some of that style and vice versa. But yo, hearing your story, it feels like you were kind of preparing to DJ without you even knowing it.
Yo, it's funny because even my bro said the same thing. He's like, because like the reason why I stopped producing was like, it wasn't that I fell in love with it. It was just kind of like, I couldn't really find that lane, that niche, you know? And that's exactly what I'm saying now. Like, it's just crazy because now that's the kind of hip-hop that's popping with, like, Yeat and, like, I forgot his name, but he made that song Pocket Watchin'. I can't remember his name, though. But, like, him, like, Scott, like, all those kind of guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, even Yachty, I feel.
Yeah, too. Yachty with, like, Poland.
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
Those kind of beats, like, that's what I used to make. So it's like, I feel like I was on a curve, but I just didn't know what to do with it.
You're ahead of the curve, bro.
You know, I really didn't know. So my bro told me, he's like, it's funny, like, what if this whole time you making beats was just like a prelude to you DJing? You know what I mean? I was like,
that makes sense, bro. Even like you're saying that you don't listen to like a full album. Like, I feel like to be a DJ, that's perfect. Like, you build your own shit, build your own list.
You know, because like, it's not that I don't have a love for the artistry. It's just like, it's just the thing of today. Like, we all have like our attention span is very like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll listen to one song and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is fire. Okay, what's the next one though?
Facts.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much how I just built a catalog. It's just kind of like music after music after music, just going through a bunch of it in a short amount of time and being like, I like this song, I like that song. Okay, give me those songs. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's how I kind of build. It's kind of like one song out of each artist, but then I make my own album out of it all, you know?
100%. You're on your DJ Khaled type shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Donny Khaled.
Donny Khaled, no,
Let's
for sure.
it.
For sure. I really like that like metaphor because that's exactly what it is. It's just kind of like, there's so many sounds to experiment with, and it's like, why don't I just try to put that all together?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, how long after you started messing around with the DJ stuff did you actually perform in front of a crowd?
That's funny because, like, I want to say I started DJing last year, late May, mid-May, around there, and then my first gig was in June.
Bro, that's not long ago. That's so fucking crazy.
Like, that's like yesterday,
that's not
bro.
Long ago at all.
That's
yesterday.
what I'm saying. Yeah, like, it's just crazy because, like, it's almost like when something you're supposed to be doing it, or like it's a part of your lane, like, it's like it's almost like those opportunities will be afforded to you. You know what I mean? So, like, as soon as I kind of just got in, and then like immediately I got a gig, I was like, I was like, okay, you know, and, you know, my first gig or one of my first, like actual flyers, it was from, like, this collective. They're called Bands. Shouts to Akuna. Because I posted on my story, I was like, yeah, I just want to start DJing or just me fucking around the board. And he came and he's like, yo, I'm doing this party. It was, like, last year Pride weekend. And I was like, word? Like, I literally just started. He was like, no, just come through, do it. And it was a paid gig and everything. So I was like, all right, like. And then the money I made from that, I went around, and then that's what bought me my Serato subscription. That's what bought me, shouts to Stoo-ie again, because Stoo-ie's the one that actually he had a separate board. And he's like, yo, I'll sell you my board. And it was just like literally perfect puzzle pieces, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, all right, I guess this is what it is, you know what I mean? Like, I can't fight with those circumstances.
Facts, it's naturally happening.
Naturally, and very quickly progressing, you know? So that's why I'm like, it's even to a point now where I'm just kind of like, I haven't been doing this for a year, like.
Yeah, but yo, what I was going to say, so you were already in the scene, though. Mm-hmm. You were already showing your face. You were already making shit happen.
Yeah.
So it's like that groundwork.
Very much so.
You had some transferable skills.
Yeah, no, very much so. Because, like, even what I was just saying to you, like, the actual Toronto scene, like, I got into that, I want to say, like, yeah, last year, March. And it happened just because, like, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm a suburban boy, but, like, what else is out there? Like, let's go explore, you know? And I got into the scene, and basically, like, one of my first parties was at Libertine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the Libertine. And the party before that, like, my homie 3 a.m., he was, I forgot what that, Clinton's.
Shout out Clinton's, bro.
Clinton's.
Like, blur shit.
Yeah, so. Like, he was at Clinton's, and he got, like, I want to say, like, what is equivalent to a residency. Mm-hmm. So he was always spinning. He was always just trying to get people out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come support, you know? Went there. And then after that, we just hit up Libertine. And that's where I met Angel. And Angel is basically, like, she's one of the main DJs for Caruza. And she put me on, bro. Like, I can't lie to you. Like, put me on. Like, all the parties you had to be at or the functions or the people you needed to know. Like, she's the one that introduced me or gave me the opportunity to introduce myself, you know? So, like, literally, it's just, I had to all, like, shake off those jitters. I had to, like, I afforded myself that opportunity to be like, you know what, I'll dress however I want to dress. So, you know, like, I'll talk to people and I'll figure it out. Because, like, when I started, like, clubbing and partying, I always went to the club or party alone. Like, I never went with people. So, like, I had to find my way or I'd just be in the corner, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just built into what it is today. Like, damn,
bro, that's some real shit.
Yeah, man, that's some real legwork, you know? And that, like, I told myself, because I was like, I don't want to just party just to party. Like, I want to, like, find something within this. And that's why it's funny that DJing became a thing. It's funny that, you know, hosting, because, you know, I've hosted a few parties and, like, all of that, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy, bro. Like,
it is crazy
how everything, like, panned out. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yo, you made a good point though, bro, where it's like, let me see what's out there, like, let me go. And I think that's the most important step. Like, if you don't go, there's such, like, a big thing about internet shit nowadays, whatever. It's very important, but yo, if you're not physically there,
you gotta be in the field,
same, bro.
You gotta be in the field.
You have to be in the field,
like, cause that's another big thing that I learned. It's just kind of like, it's one thing for you to be seen on, like, the gram or whatever, and, you know, follow someone, they follow you back, but, like, when you actually are, like, out there, you talk to them and you're like, yo, like, yeah, this is my name, so and so forth. That's where it's like, you know, you get to really read each other's energy. You try to see, like, where you're really on. And that's kind of, like, how I just met a lot of people. Because, like, yeah, last year, March, I had, like, 650 followers on Instagram. I was a pretty local guy, you know? Yeah. And now it's, like, double that in just a year. And, like, that's all literally just people I met partying.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So, like, That's why it's kind of like I like it better because it's in a sense where like these people kind of know my face. They know like what I do. Like I always have my whistle on me, whistling at parties, and that's just that's where it came from, you know. So yeah, like I'm always just about the organic, you know.
Yeah, that's the only option, bro. You can see through that too. Like if it's not organic, like it's not that hard to pick up on that. You know,
because yeah, I can see like in terms of your attraction, you know, in terms of like the leg people go out on, you know, even just to repost you or shout you out, or if there's a party happening, they're dropping in your DM, but like you got to be here, like this is a one, like, and even like someone who another like collective that's huge for that is Lotion Mag, Lotion Mag, Dent, and Forever, you know, like they put me on, you know. There's Fred again had a party, after party at AM PM, and that was like a huge deal, like to be in the room with Fred again, and they hit me up and they're like, yo, you gotta be here. I was like, all right, you know what I mean? It's just little things like that, and through things like that is how I met like another big DJ, Bambi. It was just through like Lotion Mag and them putting me on and just giving me space to be on the stage, hype manning, doing my thing, you know. So it's like very much, that's why I'm like, I shout out people whenever I can, because it's like very much a product of my development is just from the opportunities or the things they have, you know, kind of given towards me, you know what I mean, with whether they know it or not.
It's appreciation, man.
Very much so, and that's why it's just like, you know, just show love, and because it's the only way. It's being real at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Real shit.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, bro. Real quick, you guys got to make me a list of fucking... You guys are putting me on today. Like, you're naming all these names and places. I'm like, I got some work to do, man. It sounds fire to me.
Trust me, like...
I need that.
It's a, like... It's funny just because, like, I feel the same way. Like, even every day, like, I'll just be on the gram, or I'll just be just chilling. And she'll even come up to me and she'll be like, do you know this artist? Do you know this DJ? And I'm like, no.
There's some sick artists, man.
Sick. And, like, it's funny because, like, a lot of the time, like, we're on SoundCloud looking for edits, not realizing a lot of these people are from Toronto.
Bro, Toronto's really a hub, man.
A hub for real.
But, like, I think we kind of hurt ourselves by not shouting out each other enough, so, you know? But I see a change.
Yeah.
I think, like, bro, like, For the People, for example, like, when I pull up to those events, it's all love. Like, I think it's kind of starting from a new place.
Because I feel like at a certain point, it's like we all know what it is to kind of be in that position where you're like, I have a passion or I have an idea and I want to kind of put it out there, but it's like... very much you need the eyes, you need the ears, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like when you get to a point where you're just kind of like, all right, like I want to put myself out there and I'm just going to go on a leg. It's
not easy, man.
That's courageous shit.
It is courageous.
You're really courageous, you know what I mean? So it's like for me to see that off of somebody else and just be like, you know what? Immediately I'm just like, all right, like, yeah, I'll shut you out, or like let's see if we can do something, you know?
Yes.
Because it's like for you to even just do that for yourself, I commend that already, because I'm like, I know what it is to be in that position. Like, I literally, as I said, like, March, I walked into Libertine, I knew nobody, man. Like, I just had to be like, hey, my name's Donny, like...
Yeah, bro, super awkward, like, I don't know anybody.
And that was even before, like, I DJ'd, so it's like, when they'd be like, what do you do? I'm just here. Yeah, I'm just here, like, you know...
Fam, that's my life, bro. Yeah. Last week I told you I was at the TyriqueOrDie concert. Shoutout TyriqueOrDie. And I was dolo at that too. And I didn't know anyone there other than him, but he's performing. So I'm just standing there. I'm like, all right. You know, like, let's get it. We're here, you know.
Here, like, it. You know.
Rock with it.
And it's like, there was a rewarding feeling because, like, literally I just, like... I'd go to the event, meet a bunch of people, and then, like, I'd go home afterwards and look at my new followers and just be like, damn, I talked to that many people. Like, shit.
Like, real shit, man. It is, like, it's real.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just a sense of, like, you know, sometimes, you know, yeah, it's just Instagram. Other times, though, I've met, like, some of the people I've met just literally just chopping it up and stuff. Like, they've become, like, real close associates, you know what I mean? Like, we just, you know, we'll talk, we'll share information. Like, they'll be like, hey, I have a gig. Do you want to spin at it? And it's just, like, it's more than just networking. Like, you want to add that personal touch to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, you want to, you know, even if it's just, yo, sending a message, be like, yo, you good? Just literally,
yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, you good? Like, people remember that stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's human shit.
Yeah, real human shit. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if we're always talking about business, it just makes it a sense of, like, we're only good for each other for business.
Yes, and I think that I've seen that a lot, where there's a lot of people doing really good stuff, but clearly it's if it's you or them,
it's definitely going to be them on their book.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And like, yo, do your thing, but it's not really what attracts me, at least.
Exactly, and like, again, as you were just saying, like, people can tell. You know what I mean? Like, they can tell, like, what your intention is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's like, even if I ask, like, a favor, like, even simple things like, yo, can I get on guest list? You know what I mean? Before I ask that, like, at least ask, like, yo, are you good? Like,
real shit, bro. Like, common courtesy.
Yeah,
man.
like, yo, say hi. You know, some manners at least. You know what I mean?
Fucking weird.
And so I'm like, I make an effort of that, because I'm like, at the end of the day, like, they don't have to do that for you.
No.
So it's like, at least say please, thank you, and yo, how you doing today? You know,
literally what our mom taught us at like 2 years old, to fucking just do that. You know,
like, it's just the basics. I feel,
it's basics.
You know? Like, I just feel weird not doing that. Yeah,
fam, like, how are you gonna ask me some shit? I don't even really know you like that, and you're just being so, like,
you know
abrupt.
What I mean? Yeah,
it's weird.
Just, yeah. So like,
that's the shit though, bro. You meet all kinds of different personalities.
Exactly.
You learn how to maneuver a bit.
Yeah.
It's life, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I got a very, like, Mississauga question for you, okay? So I grew up Mississauga too, and until I was probably, honestly, like 2-3 years ago, like, I felt like I wasn't really outside like that. Like, my friends were my friends from high school. Like, I felt like I wasn't, my potential was not being reached.
Yeah.
Like, I was boxed in.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you feel that way too?
Yeah, and the reason why is because I want to say Mississauga, like, there's a sense to the city, like, you know, from that dynamic, because I very much agree with that. You know, like, anyone I knew, like, either from high school or just my own collective, there's a thing of Mississauga where, like, it gives you this sense of almost comfort and security in being kind of just a suburban person.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's why I definitely, like, when I started going to Toronto, it was just different, bro. Like,
bro, I used to think of downtown as, like, a day trip. Like, oh god, I gotta go downtown.
Yeah.
Like, that's
my God.
And meanwhile, it's a fucking, like, 20-minute drive from Mississauga.
It's like right there. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. Like, I very much resonate with that, because, like, it would be a thing where, like, like, I'd be like, oh my god, I gotta go downtown. Like, holy shit. It's almost like you're thinking about it like you're going to New York or something.
Same thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's like, nah, it's just literally 20 minutes up the road, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true, bro.
And the energy, I really like it, just because, like, in Saga, like, you know, you talk to a lot of people, and it's like, there's this air of almost, like, as I said, security and safety, and, like, I'm just living life, I'm doing my thing, you know? And, you know, these are perfectly fine things. Like, I'm not talking down on them whatsoever. But, like, you go into the city and, like, you just have that hustler spirit. Because, like, energy. A lot of people I meet in Toronto, they're from out of town. They're in there for school. Or they're, like, they took the risk and literally took the last, like, $1,000 to their name and said, I'm going to the city.
Yep.
And I'm going to figure it out.
It's addictive, bro, to be around it. Now, like, I have a hard time not being in the city. Like, I can't be. If I'm not working, like, I can't be in Mississauga. Bro.
Because it's just like, when I'm in Saga, it's very much just like, I'm gonna go to square one.
It's a good place. It's still, like, a good place to live. Good, like, convenient.
That's what it is.
But
it's
not
a good place
for,
to
like,
live. Like,
growing.
Because 100%, like, I don't think I could live in the city just because of little things like, I have a car, like, no garage. I have to pay for parking.
Facts, same.
Can't be on certain roads after midnight or I get a ticket. It's like, like, I'm not used to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Mississauga, I leave my car somewhere and then just, like, whatever. I come back 4 days later and the car's still there chilling.
That's all there is. Parking lots is all there is.
Yeah,
bro.
like that's all it is out here. You know what I mean?
Parking lots.
It's really relaxed. That's why I'm like, I like Sauga for that sense where it's like after the hustle and bustle of just being in the city for like 4 days straight, I went to like 4 parties in those 4 days. I come back to Sauga and I'm just kind of like, all right, now I'm on my porch drinking tea.
Real shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm
same.
just kind of like reflecting, like, what did I just do those past few days? You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Like,
so, yo, you're a party animal? Is that fair to say?
Fair to say.
Okay.
Fair to say. Like,
we got
last
head
year,
nodding over here.
Yeah, like, fair to say. Because, like, especially last year, like, it's funny. Like, I wouldn't even say it got to an addiction. It was literally, like, a thing of, like, character development. It was a thing of, like, finding myself. Like, some real, like, coming-of-age movie shit. Like, you know what I mean? And a place where I really found that too was Pep Rally. Shouts to Pep Rally. Like, they do a big service to the community because, like, for Pep Rally, it was just like it gave me a new sense of demographic.
Okay.
Like, you know, you hang around people who, you know, they identify as LGBTQ. Like, you know what I mean? There's people there that are just like, they're very eccentric beings. You know what I mean? So you walk in there and there's this air of almost like we're all people in this room. We're all like from different walks of life, different beliefs, different whatever it is. And we're all here just for the music. We're all here for the party. We're all here. We might be on some drugs. You know what I mean? We might be here on some alcohol. And literally I'll just go there. And I was allowed to get wild and people encouraged it. Like, that's when I was like, it almost felt like so many years of being like pent up or bottled up in the sense where it's like, yeah, like certain things were just not okay. I went to like pep rally or parties like that and it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went there, nails painted, you know, I'm wearing all my jewelry and shit and people are like, we love it. You know what I mean? Like crop tops on and shit and they're like, we love it. And that was huge for character development because it's just kind of like, it gave me way more safety in terms of like, you can be whoever you want to be, you know what I mean? And when you wear it as a badge of honor, in a sense, it's like people recognize and they're like, that's just you. We love it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm just like, it really just helped me. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just like, yeah, Pep Rally was huge for me too. Like, there's just so much going on in the city. And that's why, like, I really do love, like, being able to go from one collective or one party to the other. Like, I'll be at Caruza or I'm a Problem, and that's just like I'm a Piano, Afro beats, you know, at club edits and stuff like that. Then I go to Pep Rally, and that's like hard techno, like 160 BPM shit, like to the point where you don't even know how to dance to the music. It's just music. It's just it's like, you know. And then we go over to like See You Later with Sav, you know what I mean? It's like future beats and you're just chilling. Or you go to like an Afro rhythm with Onisama, and that's the same thing, but it's almost like it's more of like a basement energy, you know what I mean? So like there's just so many parties going on, and I liked being able just to have the freedom of just going to anyone I pleased, because it was just kind of like it was almost like so many parts of your personality or identity were just found, like honored, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm like, it was more than just partying. Like when people be like, oh, you're always at a party, I'm like, it's more than that. And I don't expect them to understand, because these are like my friends from Sauga, you know, these are people who are doing great for themselves in their careers and stuff, and like, you know what I mean? Like, but they might not see what I'm doing at parties as anything more than me just partying. You know what I mean? But like when I explain it, it's like, oh,
right. Okay, they do understand.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's very hard to explain, and like that's why I'm like, you know, when I post it on my story and I have people message and they're like, yo, like this looks insane, like, and I'm like, it is. It is.
Man, it is kind of addictive. Not for like, you're right. Not for the partying, just like the energy.
The energy, like
it's the energy.
It's
man.
like it's something where it's like, yo, like as I told you, like in my day job, like I work in insurance, like you know, insurance adjusting and claim, like as I said, claims and shit. And it's like too much in that corporate life, like there's a disconnect, because you always have to be certain courteous, you have to be professional, you have to you know, you have to always be on top of your shit. And then, like, the weekend comes and it's almost like, yes, let's go partying. You know what I mean? And I seen it more as a thing, like, it started to become more of a thing where it's just kind of like, it's a balance. You know what I mean? Like, it really is a balance, because it's like, it just lets me facilitate so many sides of myself that at the end of the day, it's like I come out and I'm just like, I feel like I'm living my actual person. I'm being my actual self, because I can do what I went to school for, and then I can actually go out in the nightlife, blow my whistle, and meet all these people and dance and, you know, share a cigarette and, like, you know, talk to people about their experiences and how they just moved here from Europe, and they're telling me, yo, you got to go to Europe's party culture, and you know what I mean? And it's like, it's vicariously living through people in the sense where, like, as I said, we're all people and we're all figuring it out, and we're all here to have fun, you know? That's the beauty of it all, really, man.
I think that's what I'm going to clip for this interview, bro. That was very wise words, man.
Yeah, like,
that's real. Yo, it's living life, bro.
That's exactly what
living
it is.
Living life, being open-minded, meeting different people, doing different shit.
That's all it is, man.
It's true, bro. Like, I learned that throughout COVID too, that like, yo, your setting does have a huge part of your life, bro. If you're just spending your time in the same place all the time physically, you know, you gotta see different shit.
You have
different environments.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's because it's like, even if you're not a closed-minded individual, it's like if you're at a same setting for too long, like you're yeah, it's like eventually, like, your human instinct is gonna just come to a sense where, like, this is my life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like this is all there is.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what it is. And at the end of the day, like, it came to a thing for me, like, yeah, when I seen so many other walks of life, like, I'm here, I'm stressing, I'm like, yo, I gotta save this, and, you know, this, and I gotta get life insurance, and I'm meeting people who are like, yo, I have like $20 in my bank account right now. Who wants some weed, though? I'm like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, It just showed me that, like, yo, don't take it so seriously, because at the end of the day, like, you have to have some experiences with this shit, too, you know? And Zargo was huge for that, too, because, like, I remember when I first met Zargo, I was just almost like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. But then, like, you know, he just showed me that, like, yo, life is meant to be lived. You know what I mean? Like, Zargo's one of those people, like, we can literally be chilling playing COD, and he'll be like, yo, do you want to go to Toronto? And I'll be like, what? Like, and do what? He'd be like, just anything. Go. Like, yo, let's hit up Byron. Like, let's do this. And it just taught me that it's like, yeah, like, keep it moving, man, because, like, at some point you're just going to get too stuck in what is familiar to you, and your familiarity is going to ultimately be your, like, downfall in a sense. You're not going to be able to relate, and it's not because you're closed-minded, it's because you just haven't been exposed to certain things.
Facts. You're just not in the game.
Yeah, like, you're in matrices, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So that's why it's like, whenever I meet people, I'm just like, I'm really proud and I'm really happy to see their walks of life, and, you know, I try to learn as much as I can from them, because I pride myself on being a student. You know, I never want to be known as a master, because it's like, to be a master, it's just kind of like you're getting to a point where, like, you can learn, but you already know a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And I pride myself on being like, yeah, I don't know anything, man. Like,
bro, I was talking to my homie about that last night. I'm like, yo, all the new experiences I've had, all the shit that I've done, I still don't know shit.
These facts. I don't know shit.
You know? And that's crazy.
I mean? That's, I'm like, it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, it's just fun to understand, like, different walks of life, you know what I mean? Because, like, I'm here, I live on Mississauga Road, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm surrounded by people who you can tell, like, their life it's very pillowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, I come out and I hang out with, like, friends who are just scraping it together, and I realize, like, yo, they're happy. Like, because they know what genuine happiness is. You know what I mean? Like,
facts. Because, yo, when you have, like, a fucking crazy experience, you know that, like, yo, that was crazy.
That was
like,
crazy.
You know,
like,
you think about it, you smile, you know?
Yeah, you know? And it's like, I'll mention one other party. Last year, Pride weekend, that was the craziest weekend of my life, okay? Like, because there's TD stage downtown, you know, there's like 1,000 people in just a parking lot dancing, you know what I mean? And then after that, we went to Circus. There's a party called Circus, and it was on the financial district over by, I think, Richmond.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was just crazy. That party was from 6 to 3 in the morning.
Holy fuck.
And, like, we're just in the function from 6 to 3, drinking and just doing whatever. And that, like, I've never felt such a wanderlust, like in a euphoria like that before, because like everybody was just smiling, happy, celebrating whatever, you know, who they're attracted to, what they love, who they love, you know what I mean? And it was just crazy. Like, I'd walk up on someone and they'd be like, do you have a cigarette? And I'd be like, yeah, I do here. And from that cigarette, now I know like who this person is. We followed each other on Instagram, and you know what I mean? It was just so like, it felt so authentic. And I was just kind of like, yo, this is what life is. I was like, this is it right here, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, you weren't really like that before? Like, were you a little more on like the shy side?
Super shy. Super bashful. Like, even till this day, it's still the same thing. Like, people would be like, yo, that DJ set you did was insane. And I'd be like, you know what I mean? And like, and it's not from a sense of not being able to take a compliment. It's more for the sense of just kind of like, wow. Like, you know, somebody actually came out of their skin to come and tell you, like, yo, that was amazing. Like, you on stage with your whistle, and you had people, like, going, and, like, where, you know, everyone was just happy, and you have, like, lights on your fingers, you have glow sticks on you, and you're just, like, you're just in the function. And I'm like, yeah, because at that moment, it's, like, it's so trivial for me to be like, oh, like, this bill is due, or that, and this problem of life, you know what I mean? It becomes more about, like, we're here right now, and we're having the time of our lives, okay? Like, if you're shy, I'm going to blow my whistle to let you know that, like, look, I'll take all the attention off of you if you just go and shuffle on the dance floor right now. Like, nobody's going to see you, you know what I mean? Like, and, like, I want you to have the greatest time of your life, because if I know anything and how it made me feel, it's going to make you feel the same way. You're going to go home tonight, and you're going to be like, wow, like, that was amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, the high of, like, hosting and DJing really came from. And that's what really pieced it together, because it became more than the music to me. It became more about, like, I can help people experience genuine euphoria. Like, that's insane.
Facts.
That's some powerful shit.
It is
man.
powerful shit.
Yeah, like, that's powerful. I can make someone feel like, wow, like, they go home at night and they're like, I heard some really good music tonight. I danced with people. I met someone new, and like, wow,
it's big, man.
Yeah,
it's
like,
big. You don't know you might not know the impact you actually made on someone
until they, you know. And then even some people come back and they'll talk to me and they'll be like, because like even with Caruso, like I didn't really realize. Like, I'd blow my whistle, and, like, at one point, I thought more people were just kind of, like, whatever to it, or, like, oh, this is annoying. But, you know, like, I don't think to that myself, because it's, like, those are intrusive thoughts, you know what I mean? It wasn't till, like, I'd go to Caruso events, like, later last year, and people I don't even know, like, literally do not know. They would come up to me and be like, yo, you and that whistle, man, like... You made me so happy, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was dancing to it, like, the music would drop, and then I hear a whistle, and I almost felt like that's where we were supposed to be starting, like, dancing, and it's like, that's what gave me the high of almost like, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, this is good, you know? So, good that's where that whole party animal, like, thing came from. It was way more than just, like, you know, running from anything or getting lost in illicit activities or anything. Yeah. It literally came from the fact that there's so much genuine happiness to be had in those spaces. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if I can share that with another person, like, you don't know how big that might be for that person. Facts. You know what I mean? Like, you can help them do, like, almost like a butterfly moment just by being yourself, you know?
100%, bro. Yeah. I definitely feel that. Like, you need other energy. Like it can't all just be you.
Yeah.
You know, we all need to go experience things, do
100%.
shit.
100%.
It's super true.
And that's why I keep just mentioning community and stuff, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my community, you know what I mean? I met, like, a lot of my major connects, like, a lot of the friends I have today I met through my brother, like, and it's so interesting because we had that conversation where, you know, again, early last year, I brought him to, because he's the one that put me onto Amapiano. I didn't know about it before. And then I brought him to that party because Angel invited me. And I was like, yo, you got to come with me because you put me on. You got to see this. And he came to the function with me, and he seen, like, I was doing my thing. And he kind of handed me the torch because, like, my brother used to be, like, the social one, the one that was always at parties, like, known across the city, like, stripes and badges. Like, even to this day, I'll be walking in a mall or walking outside. Someone will come up to me and be like, yo, you're Charlie's brother, right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, that's him. You know, and he kind of just said, yo, like, it's your time now, you know what I mean? Because, like, he's in that stage right now where, as I said, like, he's doing his art. He's at a new piece, you know what I mean? Like, he has his daughter, and he's transitioned to another phase.
Yep.
And now it's like, I kind of take the one that's, you know, even my sister, too. My sister, again, like, both of them, they just knew so many people, and people would always come to me, like, oh, you're their brother, right? And I'm like, yeah. You know, so, like, being handed that crown was almost like, all right, now it's my turn. Like, all that character development I went through, all of that doubting myself and being like, I don't know, you know what I mean? That's what it was all for. Because now it's like, even when I do doubt myself, it comes to a point where I'm just kind of like,
fuck it.
Facts.
That's like hilariously the answer to a lot of shit.
Yeah, just fuck it, man.
Fuck it, bro. Like, what else?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
No,
fuck
facts.
it. Let's get
Facts.
it.
Yeah, like,
you never know anyway. You know?
It's better to try than to be in my room wondering, like, yo, what if I did this? What if I did that? Like, you
real
know,
shit.
Like,
Life's too short, man.
Yeah, so.
I like that point you brought up a little while ago about, like, oh, I'm thinking of problems, I'm thinking about shit, and then it's like, fuck it, like, let's enjoy this, like, right now. And it's so true, bro. Like, yo, are you gonna go handle that problem right now anyway? No. Like, can you solve that problem today? No. So what the fuck?
You know what I mean? Like,
you know?
And, like, it's funny because I have this one friend, you know, very wise, you know, their name is Party. And I remember one time, like, we were talking, and I was like, you know, I feel like I'm very forgetful in certain circumstances, or I don't really remember certain things. And they sat me down and they're like, do you think it's just because you're just simply not present in that moment? And I was like, what do you mean, though? Because they're like, if you're thinking about something that's, like, not present in that moment, but you're in a moment, how do you expect your brain to, like, retain that information? It's almost like someone's like what we're just saying, like, someone's talking to you, but you're not really, like, listening to them, and then you forget their name.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Not
like,
present, man.
I'm just not present. So it's like, you'll be in a function, you'll be having the time of your life, but because you're not present, now it's like, it's almost like, did I go to that function?
Real shit.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's almost like, now you made the effort to go out, you made the effort to go do what it is, whatever you wanted to do, and now you can't really remember it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why I really been trying to practice that thing of being mindful of being in the moment, because when I do that, it's like, that's when I really enjoy myself.
Bro, super relatable, man.
Yeah.
That's been, like, my biggest focus for the last little while, too.
Yeah.
Because what you just described is me, bro. Like, yeah, I'll go and I'll still have a good time, but it's still, like, I'm not all there.
Yeah.
And then I'm 100%. Like, yo, that's stupid.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not making the most out of it.
Mm-mm. And then, like, you know, you come to that point where you're just kind of like, that's where the fuck it comes from, because it's like, what else am I going to do in this moment other than have fun? You know what I mean?
Real
like,
shit, bro.
I came here to have fun.
100%. 100%. Like, you brought up the corporate culture, like I'm in the corporate world as well, and like sometimes I'll be thinking of like, oh, a deadline or this or that or some shit, and I'm like, bro, it's not there yet.
It's
like,
not there yet.
How
like,
am I gonna let a fake problem hurt now? That's insane, bro. Like we could be having a sick time.
You know, and it's like there's some conversations that you're having right now where it's honestly like, if you're present in this conversation right now, it's even funny because like another reason why I love socializing and networking is because a lot of the problems I'll be thinking about in my head, indirectly, just talking to people, they have the answer even if they don't know that they're giving you the answer to your problem right now. And if you're present enough to really listen to what they're talking about, you'll be like, that actually sounds like the solution to something I can't stop thinking about right now. That's crazy. Like how, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm like, yo, like, I am just so big on community because, like, we're all connected in some way. And funny enough, it's like somebody's going to have an answer or almost like a hint or a monologue almost that it's like you listen to it and you're like, damn, so that's what I should be doing. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? And now it's like, it gives you that perspective, but to inherit all of that, you have to be in the moment. You know?
Exactly, man. To your point earlier, like continuing to be a student.
Yeah.
You don't know everything. Humble and...
No, because like if I claim to know everything, it's just almost like, as I said, it's almost gonna take away from my experience, because if I claim to know everything, it's like there's so much to be learned in that moment, and I'm always going to be ignorant to it. Like,
facts.
I already knew that.
Can't be too cool for school.
Yeah, you know, I'm too cool. Like, nah, man. Like, I'm super modest, even to a fault, and I'm not mad about it because, like, I feel like my modesty is almost like my biggest, almost like surplus at times. Like, people see the modesty off of me and they understand it's genuine, because it's like I genuinely just want to see people excel, because I know that feeling. Like when I get a gig and I'm just kind of like, you feel almost like I'm doing something. Like 100%. I put my hand out in the universe and I got something back. Like I was playing that claw game at the arcade and I actually got a stuffy bear, and it's like,
facts.
Whoa, it's materializing. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, I'm just so happy, like, when I see people doing their thing, because ultimately it's like, I know that feeling, that accomplishment. It does so much for your mental state as a person.
It's cleansing, bro.
Yeah, like, so much. And then, like, from that little opportunity or whatever it is, you're just going to want to be like, okay, like, how can I build on this? Or how can I make sure I treasure what I just did? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Very much so, man.
Man, you're saying real shit, bro. This is often stuff that I think about and talk about. Like, you're on a journey.
That's all it is, man.
On a journey, bro.
Like, I always felt this, like, thing where I'm like, I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, you know, in the scene. Yeah.
Yo, what year are you?
95.
So am I. Bro, 95 shit, late bloomer gang.
Yeah, man,
100%.
Because, like, honestly, I was even telling Jiynx, like, my early 20s, like, literally all I used to do was, like, I'd go to work, and then I'd go home, hop on COD with the boys, go to bed, then go to work. And same thing. Weekends, it was kind of like just, there was nothing popping, you know? And that lifestyle was fun for me because there was comfort and there was a safety net and all of those things. But after a while, I was like, there has to be more to life than this.
Bro, you're living my life, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you.
There has to be more to life than this. And that's why, like, last year, like, you know, like, top of last year, I just went through, like, a bad separation. And then I was just kind of like, let me just throw myself into the world, see what the world has to offer me. And I was like, I knew what I was capable of, and I guess I just needed that push to be like, fuck it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
because it is uncomfortable.
It's
very uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable, because, like, there'd be a part where, like, as I said, I'd always go alone. I'd go dolo. So it's like, there was almost like that push to be like, okay, well, if you don't talk to anybody, you're just going to be here for us. And doing fuck all, you know. You're just going to be like, why'd they even come out? And it's like, and that's where it's almost like that was also empowering to me, because it's like my decisions right now determines on how good this event happens.
Real
like
shit.
How good it is. It's all up to me. So it's like, do you want to have a good time? Then put yourself out there. You know what I mean? And then, as I said to you, like, everyone in Toronto knows everybody, whether it be through a fourth, third, or a second person. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knows each other. So it's like, you talk to one person, that person talks you to this person, that person, they introduce you to this person. Now suddenly, like, you met a major DJ and they're like, yo, come spin.
Yeah, it's not as fucking far-fetched as you think. It's literally like, oh, I know this guy.
Yeah, I know this guy. And it's like, as I said, keeping it authentic. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody, you know, is constantly getting me on guest lists and, you know, they're always talking to me, you'll come out to this party. It's like, yeah, man, like, when it's their birthday, or even like just something to show them sentimentality, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you need a ride to the function?
Yeah,
I'm coming to your crib, man. Yeah, hop into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things to show people that, like, this is not a one-way street. Like, I appreciate what you're doing for me. You know, even if it's as simple as, yo, here's a ride, or like, yo, like, how you getting home? All right, hop in the whip. You know what I mean? Or like, you know what I mean? Just introducing them to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of paying it forward, because it's like, that's how the cycle of blessings kind of goes on. Like, you get one, you give one back, and it's just like,
you might have to give a few back.
You know what I mean? Like, and be grateful of that, because it's like, you don't know that you doing that little thing for someone was probably like the biggest thing for them. You know what I mean? Because they're just like, they're probably like, yo, like, I didn't know if I can muster the energy to do that myself. So, like, thank you for that push, or thank you for that gateway to do whatever that was, or thank you for that shout out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what's interesting, bro? Something I had to learn was, I feel like I was always kind of trying to be a good friend. Like, it was always like important to me. And I learned that I felt like in certain situations I was being taken advantage of.
100%.
So the change I made was not to stop doing good things for people, but being aware of who and being aware of, does this make sense to do, bro? Like, I can't put my whole shit on the line for someone that I don't think they're going to ever do something even close to similar. But if I can see that the energy is good and, you know, can actually help, let's do it.
I even felt that in a regard where, like, you know, understanding that in that regard too, like, it's prioritizing yourself in the sense where, like, understanding that how much you're doing is it's a form of self-sacrifice, you know, in the sense where, like, you know, somebody probably can't reciprocate, won't reciprocate, you know what I mean, but you're gonna still do. At some point you sign the contract to be like, I'm gonna take the L here. You know what I mean? Whether you realized it or not, you know, I went through that so much. Just because, like, as I said, like, I'm just that kind of person. But in those regards, now how I've flipped that and made that change is just understanding, like, where my energy can be expended and where I need to be, like, you know, like...
Growing up, man. You've had life experiences. You've been through certain things before. Let's think about it.
I'm grateful for, like, everything I've been through, just because it's like, if I didn't go through that, I would not know, or I wouldn't have those stripes to be like, I've been through it already. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
you're versatile vigilante certified, bro. This is the same type of shit. I completely feel you, man. It's real. That's your life. Those are those scars that you have forever, and they're actually beautiful. Because you did that. You were there. Held it down. You're still here.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's like, it's like that mural after a while where you're just like, you're looking at each one of those scars and you're just kind of like, yeah, that happened, but because that happened, I learned this, or this happened, or, you know what I mean? And it's just in a sense where it's like, life would be so boring if these things did not happen. Like, imagine a life where just, like, it's the same linear forecast day in, day out.
Bullshit, bro. That's not life, to be honest.
No, like, there's no rush. There's no, troublesome things that you have to think about, and then like at that point it's almost like you're dulling yourself. It's like somebody at some point, it's like somebody just cooking you the food and feeding you the food, and at some point you're gonna be like, I want to feed myself. I want to cook for myself, you know what I mean?
And you have to be the one to do that, though.
You have to be the one.
You gotta realize
this whole experience, we have so much power in the fact that we determine day by day, how good is this day going to be? How good is this party going to be? How bad are we going to handle this experience? Because in the moment, yeah, you know, we can be reeling, we're sad. How are you going to bounce back from it, though? You know what I mean? To have your own little, you know, like, villain story where you're like, this happened to me, but I triumphed, and now look at me. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, I feel like that's all it is, man.
That's it. That is what it is, bro. Responsibility for yourself, and
exactly.
You got that power.
It's just taking care of yourself at the end of the day, man.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, a lot of gems drop. Bro, we're at an hour. Can you believe that?
You're lying.
An hour. Crazy. That's a very short hour, bro. Yo, I want to ask you one more thing, though. I'm very curious about. Help yourself.
No, I'm like, yo.
Bro, the Conor McGregor.
That's how you make an hour go
sped
by?
up the time.
That's crazy.
Fuck, bro. I was looking at your IG, and I see you do a lot of, like, tarot card stuff. And I was very curious to ask you about that, because it's something I'm not too familiar with. How the hell did you get involved in that?
Yeah, it's so interesting because, like, I forget at times, like, how many dimensions of things I'm doing. But, like, yeah, with tarot and, like, astrology and all that stuff, it's basically, like, I've always had, like, a niche for it. Always been into, like, occultic practices, like, reading up on, like, secret societies and things of that sort.
Is this considered dark arts?
Yeah, like, dark arts, occultic practices, you know what I mean? Masonry. And, like, yeah, me and my brother, and even my dad very much, like, it's funny, he, like, opened up my mind to it. And even the other day, he came to the house, and he was just kind of like, yo, like, I read the Satanic Bible the other day, and it was very interesting. And I looked at him, and I was like, you know what I mean? And it was very, because, like, he basically, by saying that to me, it was just basically almost like a ticket or a token to be like, yo, we can be free-minded out here, you know what I mean? Like, nothing means anything, it's just us acquiring knowledge, you know what I mean? So, like, through, tarot and astrology, I think March 2020, for some reason, March is, every March, something, like, is a doorway. It's always March for me. March 2020, I just started, I was, like, going to random thrift stores, and I'd go into their book section, and I'd just be in the book section for, like, 3 hours, just reading, looking for books, and I'd buy some, and I'd bring them home, and I have, like, a huge library now, and I was just kind of like, I have a knack for this, and one day I went on my Instagram, after I bought my first tarot card package. It was on Amazon, and I got it, and I was just kind of like, I wanted to play around with it, so I posted on my story, and people already knew me for it because I'd always post, like, things of that nature, and I was like, if I started doing tarot card readings, like, would you guys be interested? And, like, literally, this is when I knew nobody. It was all these, like, people from, like, high school and just people I met over the years, and I got, like, 200 votes to be like, yeah, do it, and I was like, okay, so I started doing them for free. And literally, this was during, like, COVID times too, so I wasn't really, well, actually, I want to say before, COVID. This would have been, like, 2018, 19 then. And, I just started reading for people, and I was just kind of, like, I was reading what I thought I was getting from it, and people were like, yo, that's actually really creepy, like, how'd you know that? And I'd be like, what do you mean? They'd be like, this is shit I don't tell nobody. Like, how did you know that? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, you know, I really can't explain this to you. And then from there, I was just kind of like, all right, let's make it a service. And before I knew it, I started doing it on Twitter, blew up on Twitter, you know, and it just became a full-on business of just reading for people. And, like, it started just to get really, like, creepy even in my eyes, because I was like, some of the things I was, like, predicting or seeing, and people were like, how'd you know? Or they'd come back to me like a month later and be like, you know that reading you gave me 2 months ago? Yeah, it actually came true. And I was just like, and one of the weirdest feats, even to this day, I read for somebody, for her son, and she asked me, she was like, you know, what do you think? Like, she's like, I want to have another child. And I was like, I feel like your next child is going to be a girl, and she's going to be born in Pisces season. And I don't know why I said that. I literally just said that. And a year later, she comes back. She's like, yeah, I just had my baby girl, and she's a Pisces. And I was like...
This guy's got a gift.
I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Evil genius.
No, like, real shit. It even scares me. Like, I'm like, how did I know that? Like, just... So that's basically how this all came together. It was just basically, like... Yeah, and it's weird too because like I came from a predominantly like Christian household, you know what I mean? So it's like it was very frowned upon like when I started realizing this stuff. But then like my siblings and even as I said like my dad, he kind of like transitioned out of that and he started doing like free arts and free knowledge. So I told him and he was even like, wow, like I really appreciate that like because like that's what I want for all of you, you know what I mean? So literally like it's just always been like I guess an interest, but then I realized an interest into a gift, and then that's when I was just kind of like okay, you know. But even that like I don't really like that stuff is really like popular on TikTok and you know on Instagram Reels, but I see how people kind of manipulate it
right
to be like, especially around love, they'll be like, "Oh, your ex is coming back," and and I'm like, I don't like that because when I do readings for people, I see how like genuinely vulnerable they are, like genuinely vulnerable, and that used to be my biggest problem. Like I would see certain things and I'd be like, "Oh, this is a terrible message," and I'm like, "How do you break bad news to somebody?" You know what I mean? But then that's what kind of got me my loyal like repeated customers. Like I have people who literally come to me like every month for like a reading, you know what I mean? They pay me like $60-$100 just to be like, yeah, read for me, Donny, what's going on, you know what I mean? And I'll just be there and I'll tell them and then they'll come back next month and be like, wow, like I don't know how you keep doing this is weird, bro. And I'd be like, I know, like I don't know either. And it's very weird because it's like one of those things where like we can't tickle ourselves, we can't massage ourselves, we can do it to other people. It's like that same thing for astrology and tarot for me. I can't read my own,
right?
Like, I cannot. It makes no sense to me, you know. But when I read for other people, it's like, wow,
that's so
like,
interesting.
Like, you know, like seeing affairs, seeing health problems, like, you know what I mean? I remember one lady, I was reading her chart, and we're just going along with it, and I was getting nervous because it's always one thing to read charts for people who are like, you know, relatively in their 20s, 30s, because they haven't been through certain things in life. So reading it, it's like, it's very easy. But when I read for people who are like 50, 60, it's like they've been through the majority of their life already. So like to predict things or just tell them about things, it's like they already know. So I'm telling her all this and, you know, she's kind of quiet, just taking notes. And then I came across one thing in her chart and I was like, some say it to her, and I was like, I'm seeing this thing in your chart. I'm like, did you have like a major passing of somebody in your family and they died because of like a health concern or a disease? And she's like, yeah, 2013 I lost my son to cancer. I didn't know this lady from a hole in the wall. And she started bawling, crying. She was like, how? I was like, and that's when I just kind of knew. I'm like, yeah, this is
some serious shit.
This is serious. So I take it very serious in the sense where like I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for people's approval in the sense where like tell me they're coming back or tell me this is gonna happen. I don't do it for that. I do it in the sense where it's like, if you really want to know, I'll tell you. But if you're asking me and you're not ready for the answer and I give it to you, you're also gonna have to be okay with that. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, I don't really promote, like, I have troubles promoting it because it's like, I don't want it to become some pop phenomenon.
Yeah. Because
I know how serious it is. Like, the ways I've, like, tapped into people's, like, actual lives and their thoughts and stuff like that. I'm like, this is not something to play with. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much that.
That's real, bro.
Yeah, that's tarot and astrology, man.
I've thought about doing that before. It's scary though.
It is. It is.
Scary. Have you done that before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read her. Yeah, I read her chart and everything.
Scary.
Like,
yeah, it sounds scary, bro. Like, it sounds super cool, but very scary.
Yeah,
I'd have to think about it. I'd feel like it's like similar to like deciding to do shrooms or something. Like, am I ready for this right now?
Experience.
Like, yeah, that's real. Like, that's gonna be an experience.
If people come up to me and they're like they want it, I'll tell them. I'll be like, well, you know, I'm happy you're interested, but like really think before I tell you what this is.
Yeah. Not small talk at the fucking water cooler.
Because, like, yeah, like, no, because sometimes, like, I read people's charts, and it's so weird to have, like, somebody else tell you about yourself on a level of your, like, past your even knowing of yourself. To the point where, like, some people will hear what things I'm talking to them, and they'll be like, so that's why I do that. Whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I read charts, it's weird. Like, even ask her, like, I get into this trance. Like, literally, my eyes kind of, like, stay in one area, and I just start talking. And people are like...
Holy fuck.
Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, this guy's weird. Like, how did he know that?
You have to be... Does the person have to be physically with you to do that? You can do that virtually?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
crazy,
that's the crazier
bro.
part, too. Like, I asked them for their permission. I'm like, do I have your permission to, like, read? And they'll be like, yeah. And once they give me their permission, it's almost like... It's like a universal doorway, almost. It's like that superstition where like vampires can't enter your house unless you grant them permission into your house. It's kind of like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like once they say, yeah, I give you permission, I'm like, okay. I read it. They can be... I've read for people like literally like... Tarot and astrology is actually very big in Brazil. Mm-hmm. Like huge. Like a lot of like on Twitter, like a lot of the people in the following are like Portuguese from Brazil. Because it's huge over there. So literally I've read for people in Brazil and like I'll tell them and like literally they're halfway across the world and I'm reading them in live like demonstration of what's going on and they're just kind of like,
that's fucking nuts.
Like what? Like yeah, like so I'm like I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of just life experiences, that's what kind of gave it to me, you know what I mean? One last thing I'll say quickly is just like, because this is a part of the thing too. So like in my left eye, I'm completely blind.
Okay.
And that happened because I was paintballing when I was like 17. Yeah. And the equipment was really faulty where when you're breathing, it would fog up the visor.
Yeah.
So I got lost on the field and I could tell I wasn't with anybody. So I was like, yo, this is not safe. I'm going to run into enemy territory. These guys are going to wet me up, bro. Like, and it's going to hurt. That's why I'm like, all right, I can't be here. So I remember I ducked behind, like, one of the, like, I guess it was like a post. It was like an abandoned car. And I sat there for a second and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this so I can, like, look and put it back on. Literally within the 2 seconds I went like this, all I felt was, and my whole face just went like that. And literally, like, yeah, my eye was gone.
Oh, my gosh,
they gave me... I had a cataract. They had to take out the cataract, and basically they put, like, a fake lens in my eyes. So my eyes, like, literally, like, robotic. It's weird. Like, it doesn't grow with light. It's literally just a fixed thing. So I can't fix my vision, like, or, like, focus on anything. It's just literally... All I see is lights and silhouettes. But when all of that happened... Literally, like, part of my requirements of my surgery was that I stay in darkness. And that was for about a month or two. Like, I had to stay in the dark.
Wow.
And that happened, again, in the springtime. Everything happens for me in the springtime. So I'm even wondering what's going to happen this spring.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. So I'm like, everything happens in the spring. So that month or two I had to stay in darkness was into the summer. So
it's almost impossible, man.
Yeah, so literally I had to be in my room with like full blackout blinds, no TV on, literally just sitting in a dark room, probably with like headphones on, listening to music or just in my thoughts. And during that time is like a lot of like the things that helped me work with astrology and tarot, like that's when it started to like manifest and come into fruition because all I could do was just sit in the dark all day. Yeah, and if I went into the sunlight, I had to wear like a whole eye patch and stuff. Like, This was just crazy years, man.
That's a fucking wild story,
that's
bro.
Basically like
that's wild.
That's when everything kind of just all like the powers, I guess. That's when it kind of came together, and now I can like read and stuff.
Bro, you lost an eye and gained like the craziest eye you could ever have.
Exactly, and like
yes,
it's funny because that's in Norse mythology, like Odin. That's how he got all the knowledge of the universe when he sacrificed his eye in the well. Shit. He took out his eye physically, put it in the well, and he gained the knowledge of the universe. So that's why I compare myself to Odin a lot, because I'm like, and then funny in tarot, there's a card called the Hermit, which rules Virgo. I'm a Virgo, and the Hermit is Odin. So it's like, it's just too much, man.
Adds up.
Yeah,
crazy,
like when I read like all my mythology and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, this is weird. I'm not gonna ask questions. Whatever.
Yeah, there's no answers. So
yeah,
why
I'm
ask?
just kind of like, whatever, man. You know,
that's fucking nuts.
That's basically the story. Tarot.
That's a hell of a story, bro. I was so interested to ask you about that too.
Yeah, I totally forget about it sometimes, because it's like, as I said, like, it's a very big part of my life, but it's also a part that it's like I don't try to keep it hidden, but as I said, because I don't want to turn it into some like gimmick.
Yeah, it's a very much if you know, you know.
Yeah, like if you know it about me, like, and that's how I get a lot of my like people that ask me for readings, like, because I rarely advertise it. Literally, it's word of mouth. Like,
right.
This person told me you read their chart and they were sent into tears. Can I please have a reading? And I'd be like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, it's never through advertising.
Yeah.
Like, it's always word of mouth of how I get people to basically come and ask me for a reading.
Very interesting, bro. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
That was some real shit. Bro, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I want to give both of you the opportunity, if you want to promote anything coming up, if you got some events or anything you want to come talk about. Floor is yours.
I mean, don't be you got some major gigs coming up. I mean,
if you don't want to, feel free, but if you want to, feel free to.
Yeah, flipping. They're not set in stone yet, but yeah, in March we have some gigs coming up. I pretty much shouted out all my people already. You know, YOLO, ForThePxople, you know, Caruza, very much, you know. Huge thanks to them for putting me on like that, you know what I mean? Pep rally, you know, mostly throughout the interview, you know, I just shouted out everyone. Lotion.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Just basically like, yeah, just my Instagram handles, but that's already going to be on the video.
What is it?
Donny Vega. So yeah, Instagram's Donny Vega. My SoundCloud is The Real Donny Vega. I'm going to post some mixes soon.
Let's go. SoundCloud's still active. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I actually prefer SoundCloud over every other. Me too. Because it's just so much more authentic.
And it's better. I still think it's better. Like it's easier to use too. Like Spotify to me is like so annoying.
Yeah,
bro.
like especially because Spotify, if you don't have an active membership, you have to do the
ads and all that bullshit.
The ads and the fucking like you have to play it in accordance to how they want.
Yeah, I hate their fucking lists.
And I'm like, honestly, man, like I'd just rather go on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud all day.
Yeah, and my Twitter is the Astro Vega.
Okay.
Yeah. So like all of that, I'll just in the video boxes or whatever. That's pretty much, yeah. This is Jiynx. What you switched your Instagram?
I did.
Yes.
Jiynx.mp3.
Yeah.
Jiynx.
Jiynx.
Thank you.
Jyn.
Jiy.
Jynx.
I fuck it up all the time.
.mp3.
Yeah,
I fuck with that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. It's fucking
Thank
a lot of fun.
Go
follow Donny Vega. Go follow Jiynx. Versatile Vigilante. Like, subscribe. Conor McGregor, bro. What the fuck? Let's get it.
Wow.
Let's go. 2023 out here.